This is the PlayStation 5. Hey everybody, I'm Alexander George, editor of Popular Mechanics. The PlayStation 5 is the first console from Sony in about 7 years. I've been testing it for the last couple of weeks ahead of its official release. This is Sony's entry into the next-gen console wars. So fall 2020's console wars are a little bit unusual. Typically whenever a console comes out, you see next-gen graphics, you see hardware specs that are just going to floor you, and everything's immediately noticeable when you see it in a demonstration. In this case, that's not really what's happening. What we're seeing is a lot of marketing around backwards compatibility, so the ability to play older games on both the Xbox and on the PlayStation 5. So it's not necessarily the graphics that are the front runner for this kind of thing. A lot of it has to do with load times and how quickly you're going to be able to go between different games. But for the future, that means that if you buy one of these now, they're going to be able to handle TVs that get better as you eventually get to 4K being a normal resolution for certain things, more specialized specs like HDMI 2.1 that brings higher refresh rate, that kind of thing that's going to make games really look lifelike. So the spec bumps aren't something you'll notice right away. We have it in our test period right now. So part of that is the ability to handle higher frame rates, the ability to have higher refresh rates, stuff that you won't see in current generation TVs necessarily. But as years go on, and if you upgrade your TV especially, as the hardware catches up to 4K content, eventually 8K content, the PS5 will be right there with it, and the graphics will look incredible. So you'll see in the box of the PS5 that's capable of 8K resolution. You also see that obviously it's capable of 4K resolution. None of that is as important as these three other specs if you're shopping for a TV to really make use of a PS5. One is variable refresh rate. For variable refresh rate specifically, that means that if you have some intense scene where there's a lot of visual information coming in, something like a big boss fight cinematic, that kind of thing, the TV will be able to slow down and actually show you a smooth transition between frame rates. So that means you won't get stuttering, you won't get image tearing, and it'll actually look really smooth and realistic as it goes through its animations. The other is HDMI 2.1. The final one is 120 Hertz input. So all that means that the PS5 is able to feed a whole bunch more visual information into the television so that it can have more room to operate, especially during heavy load scenes, like say something like a boss fight. So if you want to buy a TV that's capable of handling everything that the PS5 can do right now, expect to spend at least $1,000. So once you get to this level, cooling becomes a major issue, especially something with this form factor. If you've owned a PlayStation 4, you've probably heard the fans kicking into overdrive. That's something that seems like the developers of the PS5 have taken into consideration. So if you take apart these white panels, which are actually designed to be taken off, you'll see a 4.7-inch diameter and almost a 2-inch thick fan that's in the middle of all of it. And that's a central part of the design of the entire console, according to Sony. And that helps circulate air all around, and that's why you see these vents in all different places around the console. This thing is really quiet. It's really impressively quiet for how good the graphics look. It just stays really quiet. It's impressive, especially when you have a Blu-ray disc inside too. So when you're signing up for a PS5, part of what you're signing up for is the controller. Specifically this one. This is the DualSense, and it's the next generation of the DualShock controller from the PS4. I've been testing it for the last several weeks, and it is my favorite controller that I've used on any console ever. So it's comfortable, the layout is just right, it fits really nicely in your hands, the joysticks have just the right amount of tension. There's this texturing on the back. A little Easter egg is that it has these circles, squares, triangles, and X's, like on the front of the controller. It actually makes it more abrasive and makes it easier to hold, especially as your hands get sweaty. And then you get into the haptic feedback, which means the vibrations that it provides. So it's subtle, the way that you'll actually feel the controller itself vibrate as things happen, but it especially shows through in the shoulder buttons. They'll adjust their resistance according to what's happening in the game. So for example, you're pulling back on a bow, it'll actually become more resistant as you're holding it. So that adds this level of immersion that kind of sounds like, as I'm describing it, a little bit gimmicky, but it actually translates to something that feels much more immersive than anything before it. And it's something that you can't find elsewhere. So another Sony accessory that's available for the PS5 is the Pulse 3D headphones. These are $100. They have 12 hours of battery life on a single charge via USB-C. They have active noise cancellation and dual mics built into it. It also comes with a 3.5mm headphone jack, so you can use it with other items as well. And one small design detail that I just love is the switch that turns it on or off. It's not a button that you have to hold down and wait for voice prompts, you just instantly know whether it's on or off. So if you spend 500 bucks on a PS5, what are you getting for that? You're getting knockout graphics, especially if you're thinking about upgrading your TV in the next several years. So you get what I think is the best control you can get on a console. You're getting an ecosystem of first-party accessories that really feel premium. And in total, you're getting this hardware package that will feel as awesome 5 years from now as it does today. Are you team PS5, team Xbox, team PC? What's your favorite gaming platform? Let us know in the comments and subscribe for more videos from Popular Mechanics. Cool, all right.